Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about measures 394 to 412 in Danse Macabre, one of my all-time favorite pieces I've loved since I was itty-bitty and could not wait to get my hands on the violin and play this piece. So I'm very excited to share with you how to play through this passage very easily, efficiently, effectively, and cleanly without freaking out, without nerves, without anxiety, and you'll be flying through this passage before you even know it, okay? So it's a really, really exciting passage, a lot of fun. I'm going to share the secrets with you, okay? So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing here is a G minor arpeggio, and it's really, really important that this is in tune, as always. You want to be as in tune as possible on the violin. And in this case, what you want to think about are your finger relationships. Most of the time you want to think about that anyway. And also, remember, have your hand solidly in first position with a low 1 for the B flat. Don't think, okay, I'm going to play that B flat and then everybody else gets flat, okay? So these are your beginning secrets to play these 6 notes perfectly in tune, okay? So you have, right here, a perfect fourth between that D and G. You want to know that relationship right there. And then your 4 touches a 3. So just practice that about 10 times. Break it down 10 times a day, okay? And then you'll find that you really don't need to spend much more time than that on it, as long as you think about it the way we talked about. Okay, now this coming up next, this is the part that everybody freaks out about and spends a lot of time with mental anxiety and probably has maybe 2 hours of mental anxiety before they even start to practice this section. So don't even go there, just pick up the violin and go for it, and I'll show you what to do. So you just came out of that G minor arpeggio, your 4th finger is on B flat, okay? And you want to make sure you're in the right bow direction at all the time, even when you isolate this passage, okay? So we have 4, 3, 2 squishies, half steps. 4, 3, 2, okay? And then keep that 2 down, squishies, 3, 2, 1. All right, think of it as a word, not 2 words, but 1 word. Okay? And that will really, really help you fly through this, okay? So squishies, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now here you're going to go squishies, 3, 2, 1, again, 3, 2, 1 again, and then 2, 1 open. Okay, so always 3, 2, 1 squishies. Okay, and just have your anchors so you know exactly where you are on the violin. So our first one, our anchor is obviously 3 for that A, okay, for those 2. Now you're going to shift, which is really not a shift, but you're just going to go back into normal, where your 1's your anchor here with F sharp, and then you have half position, and 2, 1 open. So your anchor there is like F natural, low 1, okay? And then, once you have the fingering, once you feel very confident, you can fly through this, okay? Absolutely fly. Not joking, fly through, okay? Don't think the note names when you're playing this. Now, I'm a big, huge stickler about note names all the time. In this case, though, if you think about your note names, you're going to be slowing yourself down. You've got to fly. Think about 3, 2, 1 squishy where you're shifting, and that's all you can do, okay? So when you're playing this, think about those 3, 2, 1s and the squishies. Now, you may be asking yourself and wanting to ask me, but it's a grace note and 2 eighth notes. Yes, I know. It's a grace note and 2 eighth notes. I stressed over that. I spent a lot of time thinking about that. I spent a lot of time practicing that to make sure I can play a grace note and 2 eighth notes. And then I went to my mentor, Rachel Martin Pine, my coach at the time, and she said, it's going to go so fast. Just play the 3 notes. When I got permission from her to just do the 3 notes, then I was, okay, great. I felt free. I felt like this is wonderful. I don't need to waste my time stressing about this, because my orchestral brain was thinking, I've got to make a difference between that grace note and the 2 eighths. And yes, if you want to do that, go for it. If you want to stress over that, that's just fine. And think of it as a grace note. Think 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 with a fast 3. Go for it. But for the most part, why? Just play 3, 2, 1. We have permission from one of the best violinists in the world just to play 3, 2, 1. So why not? Okay? So here we go. All right, so that's that passage. Okay, so going on, you're going to have to shift into 3rd position for the next measure, and this measure is 394. But you can shift into 3rd position and think, okay, I'm shifting to 3rd position with 1st finger on D. No, because our 1 is going to be higher than E flat. So you want to think you're shifting to 3rd position with 2nd finger as E. Okay, makes a world of difference, and I'm telling you that just the way you think about it mentally really can make a world of difference. So you're shifting to third position, second finger on E. And just think about that a lot of times in other passages and pieces that you're working on, how you're thinking about it mentally, because I've seen it with my own playing, I've seen it with my students over the 20 years I've been teaching. I just say a little bit, think about it this way. So we didn't have to spend hours of practice to fix the problem, the intonation issue. Just change the way you think. And it's golden, it's illuminated, and it's fixed, okay? So here, this is a great example. You're shifting to third position, 2 for E. 2 for E is your anchor, okay? And then squishy. Okay, it's a down bow. Okay, now let's think about this. We want to have anchors, okay? What I mean by anchor is a finger that you feel very, very confident with as your intonation anchor, and then the 3 and the 1, if it's your 2, as your anchor. The 3 and 1 just are squishy next to it. If it's your 3, your 1 and 2 are squishy to 3. So find what your anchors are. I'm going to share with you what my anchors are, and then you can see, okay, that works for me, and maybe it doesn't, okay? But make sure you do know what your anchors are. All right, so for this first one, the anchor is 2 for E. The next one, my anchor is first finger for D. Okay, the next one, second position, my anchor is second finger on that same D. Okay, then the next one, my anchor is just 3 for D. Squishies, and the next one, my anchor is 1 for B, squishy. And then 1 for B flat, squishy. Okay, now, this is great when you practice to think about this. When you need to fly, you have no time to think about note names and anchors, okay? But you want to set up that foundation and practice so you can figure it out that way. And then your fingers are set, you're physically ready to go, you're mentally ready to fly, okay? So the same thing, just 3, 2, 1 squishies. In this case, we don't have a 2, 1 open, okay? So just 3, 2, 1. We'll try that one more time. Okay, because you want it to be clean, absolutely clean. So every single finger needs to speak. So, okay, so very, very clean. Now the next passage you have to do in third position, 2 for the A flat. All right. Now here the intonation possibility of a bad note or a note that's out of tune is that fourth finger, because you're coming from an A flat and you have to stretch it forward. So really just check your finger relationship between the A flat and the C. Okay? And then second position, and then that 2, 4, the relationship is different. So no, and the first measure there, the relation between 2 and 4, and the next measure, the relationship between 2 and 4. Okay? All right? And 3 and 4 touch in that measure there that we just played. Okay, and then our 1 for F sharp, then we're shifting into third. Okay, and here, this is really, really easy, but if you need to have a way to think about it, and, grab the octave, and then play your 3 next to the 4 for the F sharp, to kind of give you some foundation if you need it, and then B flat. Okay, and then we're back to that G minor arpeggio, which we started from, and really feel that perfect fourth, okay? The next measure is exactly the same that we just talked about, so there's no need for us to go over that. And then, so we'll skip ahead, so we have the same passage here, what we talked about before. Okay, and then here, same thing, shift to third. Okay, now we have, that was D major, now we're going to a G minor. Really feel that distance between B flat and G there. Low 1 for F sharp. We stay in third position this whole passage. And then low 1 again. Now first. Now third. To shift to 6. And you gotta practice that third to 6. Because you don't have time. You have to shift as fast as possible here. And think about your bow direction. So when you isolate this, you're going to have to isolate going from up to down. And practice it, isolating it as fast as possible, as cleanly as possible, and without vibrato to help you think, oh, I did play that note a little bit more in tune. No, it's got to be without vibrato. You don't have any time, and you have to shift really, really fast. So that shift right there, I'd isolate, personally, I would isolate it probably about 30 times a day to make sure that I really nailed that sixth position D D, okay? So that is all the pieces to the puzzle. You are good to go. You're more than good to go. You are golden. And you have the how to play it physically with the fingers. You have the way to think about it mentally. So you are good to go. Have fun practicing. Always have fun practicing. And remember, until I see you again in the next video or online coaching, be true, be you, be.